Good evening, everybody. I'm the wrong man to talk about pacifism because I'm a very militant Frenchman and not been known for my pacifism. But nevertheless, I'll give it a try. First, I would like to say that in this type of conferences, one keeps praising each other without really believing it, without really thinking about it. But I would like to say that Nivedita spoke wonderfully, and the essence of an Indian woman shone through her, what should be an Indian woman, with that inner peace and yet that strength, and that's how we conceive, the great Indian woman. So I'd like to congratulate her on her speech, which was really, meaningful and catching. I'd like also to greet my friends here, Mr. Surya Prakash, and Mr. Anirban and Brigada Sheikh, who are great warriors, great Seva warriors. Happy to have them tonight. Now, pacifism. There is a very wonderful concept in India called the ASURA. What is the ASURA? All of you know what is meant by the ASURA. In the West, we have a similar concept, but actually very different. It's that of the devil, the Asuric Christian incarnation. But these two are very different, because if you see in the West, we all look at black and white, people who are good, people who are very bad. But actually in India, the Asuric concept is much more subtle, The Asura can look good. It can look politically correct. It can look like pacifism. It's not a joke, actually. It's a very serious concept. The Asuric concept, in Hindu philosophy is so subtle. It is, how does the devil work in the world? It works in very subtle ways. And as a journalist, I observe it. And maybe I'm wrong. It's my personal judgment. But it works in very, very subtle ways, and it looks good, and it looks right, and it looks politically correct. And people get fooled, and they get fooled, sincerely. Actually, the greatest of the Asura is that, people are sincere when they practice, what the Asura preaches. People think that it is good. I mean, all the youth of the world, have embarked upon crusades, which look so wonderful, but actually are destructive. Now, if you look at Kashmir today, for instance, I have covered Kashmir extensively during the most troubled times, between '89 and the first free election in I think 97. I really covered Kashmir, and I saw firsthand what was happening in Kashmir. Now, so I have a fairly good idea of what's happening in Kashmir. Now, if you look at the press today, the Indian press, forget about the foreign press. They're anyway very ignorant when it comes to India or Kashmir. If you look at the Indian press, it has goodwill towards Kashmiris, toward the Kashmir of the valley. That these people, they have genuine grievances, they are young, they can't study, they have no money. It looks good, it looks nice, it looks pacifist, but actually, it is leading slowly India towards, accepting the fact that Kashmir may go. That it's okay, for India, a great country, a pacifist country, a generous country, to let go of Kashmir. After all, as Mr. Vinod Mehta of Outlook magazine said, what's wrong in giving up Kashmir? After all, we are a big country, we can afford to let go of Kashmir. Now, this is the Asura work. This is really, as I conceive it, as I see it, my personal observation, this is how the Asura works, Not like the devil, not like the American cartoons, where there's a good guy who saves, the good people against the very bad guys, but in a very perverted, twisted manner, but destructive. Overwhelmingly powerful and destructive. This is how the Asura works. Now, I had an experience in Kashmir once at the height of the troubles. The Kashmir was under curfew most of the time, and there was only one hotel open in those times on the bank. And one could walk on the band at night, Of course, Mr. Ajit would know about this. one could walk on the Srinagar band at night, even when there was curfew. It was like a protected place. So I used to walk there and I would hear gunfire, and bombs. Kashmir, Srinagar was a very dangerous place in those days. And I had a very subjective experience. I felt, that thousands of yogis, and great sages, I believe Swami Vivekananda went to Kashmir, Sri Aurobindo went to Kashmir, had meditated there, had done tapasaya, had prayed there, and I could feel that Kashmir was a holy place. Very, very, of course, for a Frenchman, it's a very subjective experience that nobody would believe. But that night, I had this feeling that Kashmir was worth keeping only for that reason, because it's been a very holy place for many, many centuries, many millennia, and every yogi, every sannyasin went to Kashmir and prayed and meditated. And still today, in spite of the strife, in those days, in spite of the gunfire and killings, and those times the Kashmiri Pandits already had been, pushed out, there still was that atmosphere, that you can feel in some parts of India. And I felt it in Kashmir. Now, pacifism said we should give away Kashmir, we should let Kashmir go because Kashmiri youth are unhappy, they want to go to Pakistan, they want to become independent. But if you look, forget about the spirituality, if you look at Kashmir from a strategic point of view, now already you have Tibet, which is in the hands of hostile people, and it's a great problem for India from a strategic point of view because the Chinese, they swooped down from Tibet, into Arunachal in '62. Then you have Nepal, which become now de facto a hostile country. Then if India lets go of Kashmir, then you have Kashmir, which is a gateway to, to many of these